Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the stage tonight for the first time, Mr. David Abraham. Give it up for him, y'all. David, such a pleasure to have you, man. Go ahead and take a seat.
So great to be here.
All right, this is exciting. You guys excited tonight? Yes. All right, David, now you're an evangelist, and you've been doing this for how long now?
For the last 8 years.
For 8 years. Yeah. And what exactly is evangelism? Can you help someone here who might not understand what that means?
Yeah, absolutely. I believe evangelism is a lifestyle. And what I do is I'm a vocational evangelist. I travel and speak at churches, and I help churches and ministries set a path on how we can reach the lost in their areas, in their campuses, wherever they go, how to carry that evangelism lifestyle and win the lost around.
All right. What kind of challenges would you say come with being an evangelist?
You know, I think the challenge is, it can range, but I think one of the biggest ones is being able to witness to someone, share your faith with them, see them encounter Jesus, but from that point on, following up with them, making sure that they're plugged into a great church, a local church where they can be shepherded and grow from there.
All right. Now, would you say that evangelism is for everybody? I mean, how did you know it was for you, for instance, right?
Yeah, I believe everyone's called to do evangelism. Paul told Timothy, do the work of an evangelist. And so I believe we're all called to share Jesus with people. And how did I know I was called to be an evangelist, like a vocational evangelist, to do this with my life? To be honest with you, one day I was in prayer. I actually have a financial background. I was a financial analyst in one of the large banks. One day in prayer, the Lord said, I'm calling you into campus ministry, and then from there to be an evangelist. And it just started from that point on.
All right. Now, do you feel that that changes as you grow into ministry, or that becomes the end from the beginning? Is that the final vision for you?
Yeah, you know what, to be honest with you, when I started in ministry, again, I started in campus ministry, and I thought I would do that for the rest of my life. 4 years into that, the Lord said, I want you to be an evangelist. I said, okay, so my goal is to do this for the rest of my life, but that could change. Again, it's just, as you hear from the Lord, as you spend time with Him, He dictates what we do and where we do it.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, what would you say has been the most amazing thing that has defined your ministry so far?
Wow, that's a great question. I remember when me and my wife, we were ministering at a local church in Tampa, actually. So it was not a very large church, but this was in the beginning of our ministry. And it was a weekend. And at the end of the weekend, one of the church mothers, we all know the church mothers, she came up to us and she said, you know what? We've been praying for a move of God in our church for the last few years. And this weekend, we saw God answer that prayer.
Wow. Isn't that amazing, y'all? Give it up. Wow.
That was a defining moment for me.
All right. Now, talk to me a little bit about your heritage. I know that you have a rich heritage. Talk to me about where you're from, your parents are from, and how you came to, serving in the ministry.
Absolutely. I grew up here in the States. I actually was born in Philadelphia, but my parents are from India. My dad's a pastor. My grandfather's a pastor. My great-grandfather planted churches in North India and Pakistan. I'm pretty sure my first word was church. Wow. I just grew up in it. And so I'm fourth generation of pastors, of preachers, ministers, and I'm so honored, for that. But with that said, when I grew up, I did not want to be in ministry. I just wanted the furthest thing away from it, and God had a different plan for my life.
Wow, yeah. That's amazing. Now, I was with you over at the Habitation Conference, and we were standing in the lobby at the end of the Habitation Conference, and there was a young lady that showed up, and she had a cast on her hand. And I remember you walking up to her, unsolicited, by the way, and said to her, would you mind if I pray for you for your hand? And she said, yes. And you began to pray for her for about barely 1 minute. And after that, she held her hand like this, and in shock, she was like, oh my gosh, the pain is gone. Like, I couldn't even do this. And she started moving her hand. Does that kind of thing happen often for you?
It does, to be honest. And I know it sounds haughty, but I would say, if anything, I've just dared to believe that when Jesus said, you'll lay hands on the sick and they'll recover.
Amen. Amen.
To me, I just want to see that happen. And it doesn't get old, to be honest with you. It never gets old.
So how does that actually feel for you when you see something happen like that? Somebody actually, they couldn't do it before, and you see it happen because you prayed. Do you feel kind of like you had something to do with that?
I think the fact that it happens shows me I had nothing to do with it. because there's nothing in my power that could do it. Like, I'm not a special person. I mean, my mom calls me special, but anyone else, I'm not really, better than anyone else. I don't glow in the dark when I pray. Nothing like happens. I just believe what Jesus said. Actually, this week I was having lunch with a ministry friend of mine, a pastor on the other side of town, and he's from a background that they don't believe that this kind of stuff happens. And we're sitting outside as people are walking by. The Lord gives me a word of knowledge for a young lady, and I say, hey, do you have pain in your left knee? And she says, I actually have pain in both my knees. Prayed for her. God heals her. And this guy's blown away. He's, oh, my goodness.
Wow. Isn't that amazing, y'all?
And so you realize it's only God that can do that.
Wow. That's amazing. That's true. Now, if you could have everything you needed towards your ministry, what would those things be?
You know what? I think that's a loaded question. To be honest, I would love to have people that would help volunteers. I mean, volunteers are so needed. We do these outreaches on college campuses called Now, and have people just on board to help us with some of our outreach events. That would be great. And then people that want to partner with us, that believe in our heart to carry encounters with God to people that don't know God. Right. That would be huge.
Now, I believe that's a wonderful thing. If people wanted to support you, so we're talking about Now, if you had volunteers that want to engage with you, how do they reach you and how do they sign up? And if there's people that want to maybe sponsor whatever it is that you're doing in terms of ministry right now, how do they go about reaching you?
Absolutely. They can go to my website, reviveyourworld.org. Again, that's reviveyourworld.org.
All right. Now, I'm from Zimbabwe, so I got to ask you this question. Have you been to Africa yet?
I have not been to Africa yet, unfortunately. I want to go so bad.
Right. Is there any other place in the world where you feel that you would like to impact as far as ministry that you haven't been to so far?
Africa is definitely one of those places. And I would definitely say certain parts of Europe. I would love to just see another awakening happen where we've seen some of the great revivals, some of the greatest moves of God happen in Europe. I believe it's going to happen again, and I'd love to be a part of that.
All right. Well, listen, David, I appreciate you for joining us tonight. Everybody, please give it up for David Abraham.